Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Master Duel Stardust Dragon Synchron deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because this deck is hands down my most requested Master Duel deck profile ever. And this deck finally got all the Synchro support we've been waiting on for Master Duel. So I'm really excited to show you guys my list. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron, along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Stardust Synchron. This card is a great 3-up for this deck that has the ability, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you contribute a monster to special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you can special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except for Synchro monsters, which is not that big of a deal because all we're summoning is Synchro monsters anyways. It also has the ability, if this card is normal or special summon, then you can add a spell or trap card from your deck to your hand that specifically lists Stardust Dragon in its text, which is a great effect because we have some really good cards we can actually search off this card. You can get away with 2 copies of Stardust Synchron, but I really like having the 3rd one in my build, and it's helped out a lot. We then play 3 copies of Junk Synchron. Junk Synchron is a great 3-up for this deck because it has the ability that when it's normal summon, you can special summon a level 2 or lower monster from your graveyard in face-up defense solution, but its effects are negated, which is not that big of a deal because usually you're just going to use this card plus any level 2 monster in this deck to be able to go for Junk Speeder to then go in for all your different combos. This card is a great 3-up. We then play 3 copies of Junk Converter, which is going to be able to search out that copy of Junk Synchron with the ability to discard this card and a tuner monster to add a Synchron monster from your deck to your hand, setting up the copy of Junk Synchron with a level 2 in the graveyard, while also searching it to be able to normal summon and then go in for all of your combos, which is really good. This card also has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard as a Synchro material, then you can target a tuner monster in the graveyard and special summon it in defense position, but it can't activate its effects this turn, and you can only use each effect this card once per turn. We then play 3 copies of Doppel Warrior. Doppel Warrior is a great 3-up as well because it generates tokens, because it has the ability that when a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, then you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as a Synchro material, then you can special summon 2 Doppel tokens to your side of the field that are Warrior Dark level 1, 400 attack, 400 defense, and attack position, which helps us out a lot to be able to then get those tokens on the field so we can climb with our Synchro monsters. We then play 3 copies of Ascatar Dawnwalker. Ascatar Dawnwalker is a great 3-up in this deck because you just have to discard a card to special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and then you get to special summon out a Fire Ant Ascatar from your hand or deck, which is pretty good to be able to just special summon out a level 3 tuner to your side of the field so you can go in for a level 8 Synchro play. We then play a single copy of Fire Ant Ascatar, which is the card we're going to be summoning off of Dawnwalker every single time, which is a really good 1-of in this deck. You don't want to play any more than 1 copy of this card because you're usually just going to use a single copy of Ascatar in the duel, but it's a great 1-of in this deck to be able to use with your Dawnwalker to go in for those level 8 Synchro plays. We then play 2 copies of Clawcrow. Clawcrow is a good 2-of in the deck because it has the ability that if you control a dark monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a really good effect because we do play quite a few dark monsters in this deck, and it's very easy to just summon this card to your side of the field and then go in for your combos. We then play a single copy of Fleur Synchron, which is just our level 2 Synchron monster to be able to go in for Junk Speeder. It's a really good 1-of in here because you just need it for the level 2. We then play 2 copies of Jet Synchron because it's not actually at 0 in Master Duel. This card is actually at 3 in Master Duel, which is really awesome. And it's just a great 2-of because it has the ability that if this card is sent to the graveyard as a Synchro material, then you can add a Junk monster from your deck to your hand, which is really good because of the amount of Junk monsters we play in the main deck, like Junk Converter and Junk Synchron, to set up more plays. It also has the ability, if this card is in your graveyard, then you can send a card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. This card is absolutely busted and is just a really good 2-of. We then play a single copy of Cyber for Synchron, I just play a single copy of this card because it helps out as a 1-up in the deck to be able to go in for additional plays, because once per turn you can target a level 4 lower monster that you control and increase its level by its original level until the end of the turn, which is really good to be able to level manipulate your monsters to go in for additional plays. We then play a single copy of the Will's Dragon. Will's Dragon is a really good 1-up in the deck because it's just good to be able to go in for your copy of your Majestic Star Dragon, because it has a really awesome effect that it has the ability that it can't be used for the synchro material except for a synchro summon of a majestic monster, and this card's name becomes Majestic Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. And when you draw this card, you can reveal it and then special summon this card from your hand, and then if you do, and if you control a level 8 or higher dragon synchro monster, then you can special summon a level 1 dragon monster from your deck, which our target for this card is going to be Omni Dragon Brotar, which is going to help us out a lot to go in for a copy of Majestic Star Dragon. This card is a great 1-up in the deck because you can special summon it off of your Will's Dragon, and it's just super easy to be able to combo off to go into that Majestic Star Dragon. We then play a single copy of Stardust Trail. I like one copy of Stardust Trail in my build. It helps out a lot for your combos with this deck, because if a monster you control is tributed except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if a Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust Synchro monster is synchro summoned using this card as a material, then you can special summon out a Stardust token that's a level 1 0 attack 0 defense dragon light monster, which is pretty good to just generate that token on your side of the field so you can go in for a lot more plays and help you climb with your synchro monsters. We then play a single copy of Synchron Carrier. Synchron Carrier is a good 1-up as well because it does give you that additional normal summon, because during your main phase you can normal summon a Synchron monster in addition to your normal summoner set, which helps you out with this being a level 2 monster to go in for additional plays. And if another Synchron monster is sent to the graveyard as a material for a synchro summon of a warrior or machine synchro monster while you control this card, then you can special summon out a Synchron token, Machine Earth level 2, 1000 attack, 0 defense, which is pretty good to be able to just get those tokens on your side of the field with cards like Doppel Warrior, this card, and Stardust Trail. We then play 3 copies of Maxi. Maxi is really good to be able to open with because you can use this card really well with your copies of Junk Synchron, because it is a level 2 monster that you can bring back for Junk Synchron to go into Junk Speeder, but it's hands down the best hand trap in the entire game, and it's just a really good card because during either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and this turn, each time your opponent special summons a monster, you get to immediately draw a card, which in Synchron can equal a lot of advantage and can be really helpful. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is really good in this deck because it helps us extend our plays to go in for all sorts of additional synchro plays, or even bring back one of our synchro monsters to our side of the field once it's been synchro summoned. One copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is good in this deck because it helps you get the exact card you need in the graveyard when you need it. One copy of Reinforcements of the Army, because we do play quite a few warrior monsters in this deck, so this card helps out a lot to get the exact one that you need. One copy of Stardust Illumination, which is one of the cards we can actually search off of the Stardust Synchron. It has the ability to send a Stardust monster from your deck to the graveyard, or if you control a Stardust Dragon or a synchro monster that lists Stardust Dragon in its text, then you can special summon it instead, and you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target one Stardust monster that you control and increase or decrease its level by 1, which helps out to level manipulate your monsters to go into the exact level that you need to go in for your synchro plays. We then play a single copy of Arrive in Light. Arrive in Light is a good 1-up in this build because it helps out a lot with your Will's Dragon, because it has the ability that when this card is activated, you get to place a level 1 dragon monster from your hand or deck on top of your deck, and neither player can return Stardust Dragon or synchro monsters that list Stardust Dragon in its text from the field to the extra deck, which this card just comes in very handy to combo with Will's Dragon in Brotar, and it's just a really good 1-up. It also has the ability that if a synchro monster is special summoned, except during the damage step, then you can activate one of these effects, but you cannot apply the same effect. And again, in this turn, you get to draw a card or special summon a tuner from the hand. Usually you're going to get the draw effect to be able to get that card to your hand to be able to go in for your Majestic Star Dragon. We then play a single copy of Black Garden. Black Garden helps out a lot because it generates a lot of tokens and is just a really good combo piece for this build. We then play 2 copies of Call by the Grave, because you can't play Call by the Grave at 2 in Master Duels, which is really nice in this deck to be able to just stop your opponent from hand trapping you. We then play 3 copies of Tuning. Tuning is really good because it's the searcher of the deck that lets you add a Synchron tuner monster from your deck to your hand and then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So this card is a 3 of in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Synchro Overtake. Synchro Overtake is a great 3 of in this build because it lets you reveal a Synchro monster in your extra deck and then choose one of the Synchro materials whose name is listed on that card and add it to your hand, or special summon that monster from your deck or graveyard. Also, you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn you activate this card except for Synchro monsters from the extra deck, which again is not that big of a deal because all we're summoning is Synchro monsters anyways. So this card is a definite 3 of to get to your copy of Junk Synchron by revealing Junk Warrior in the extra deck. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing some really awesome synchro monsters like our Majestic Star Dragon. This card is so easy to summon and is just a really awesome monster. It takes a Majestic Dragon plus 1 non-tuner monster, including a Dragon Synchro monster, which is super easy to be able to do in this deck. It has the ability, it must be Synchro Summon. It must be special Synchro Summon, and then once per turn, you can negate the effects of 1 effect monster opponent controls, and this card gains 1 additional attack for each battle or during each battle phase of every monster in your graveyard that is a Stardust Dragon or a Synchro monster with Stardust Dragon in its text, which is really awesome for this card to gain those additional attacks. And also has the ability to, once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you could banish this card until the end phase of the turn, and then if you do, negate the activation. If you do that, banish that card. This card is a great 4,000 attack point boss monster, and it's just super easy to summon in this deck. We then play a single copy of Cosmic Blazar Dragon. This card is a great boss monster as well that's really easy to summon in this deck, and has all sorts of crazy effects that when your opponent activates a card or effect, negate the activation if you destroy that card. When your opponent would summon a monster, negate the activation if you do destroy that monster. And when an opponent's monster declares an attack, negate the battle or negate the attack, and then in the battle phase. This card is just absolutely nuts and is just a really, really good card in this deck to have all those really crazy effects that all you have to do is banish this card until the end of the end phase, or until the end phase to be able to activate those effects. And it is a quick effect, which is really awesome, especially on this 4,000 attack point monster. We then play a single copy of Baron de Fleur because it's one of the best synchro monsters in the entire game. A walking negate and pops a card is just really, really good in this deck, and it's super easy to summon. We play a single copy of Chaos Ruler because it helps us dig through the deck, and you get to activate the top 5 of your deck, and then add a lighter dark monster among those cards from your deck to your hand, which is really, really good. We then play a single copy of Crystal Wing because it's really easy to summon and helps you combo from this card up to your copy of Majestic Star Dragon, which is really easy, especially with Arrive and Light. This card is really good because it is a walking monster negate, which is really great. We'll play a single copy of Stardust Dragon because Stardust Dragon is just really, really handy in this deck because it's just a really awesome nostalgic card and helps out with your copies of your Majestic Star Dragon, and has the ability that you contribute this card to negate the activation of a spell trap or monster effect that destroys the cards on the field, which then you get to bring this card back during the end phase, which is really, really good against cards like Dark Hole, Regeki, any of those cards, Lightning Storm. This card is really, really good. We then play a single copy of Stardust Charge Warrior because when you Synchro Summon this card, you get to draw a card, which is really good. Play a single copy of TG Hyper Librarian. Hyper Librarian, every single time you Synchro Summon with this card on the field, you're going to get to draw a card, which is just absolutely insane in this build to be able to just draw a card every single time you Synchro Summon, because you're going to be Synchro Summoning multiple times per turn. We then play a single copy of Junk Warrior. Junk Warrior is the card you're going to be revealing with Synchro Overtake to be able to grab Junk Synchron from the deck. So that's the reason you play this card as a 1-up. One copy of Junk Speeder. This card is going to be one of the first Synchro monsters you're going to be summoning out of your extra deck, because this card is just absolutely insane and is the entire deck, because it has the ability that if this card is Synchro summoned, then you can special summon as many Synchron tuners as possible with different levels from your deck in defense position, which is just absolutely nuts to be able to special summon out all those monsters to your side of the field and then climb into some really crazy Synchro plays with this card. We then play a single copy of Garden Rose Maiden because it combos well with your Black Garden. One copy of Excel Synchron. This card is just good because it is a tuner Synchro monster, so it helps you go in for some really good plays in this deck. Play a single copy of Herald of the Arclight because it's a walking negate that's super easy to go into in this build. One copy of Metal Marcher. Metal Marcher is again very good in this deck because it has the ability, if it's Synchro Summon, you can target a tuner in your graveyard and special summon in defense position but negate its effects. And this card just helps you go in for all sorts of different plays because it is a tuner synchro monster. And then we play a single copy of Celestial Double Star Shaman. This card is really, really good as a one-of in here because it's a level 2 tuner monster that's also a synchro monster that can help you go in for some really good plays into your copies of your Cosmic Blazar because it does require a tuner synchro monster to go into that card, but it has the ability also that when this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon up to 4 level 2 non-tuner monsters from your hand and or graveyard in defense position, but their effects are negated, and which is just really, really good to be able to get all those monsters on your field so you can climb into all these different synchro plays. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really, really awesome deck. The only thing that I've thought about changing is adding a quick draw Synchron into the deck. I wasn't playing that in this particular build and dropping a single copy of the Stardust Synchron. I was thinking about dropping one of these for a quick draw, but that's totally up to you guys if you want to go that route. It is a 43 card deck, I believe, so if you guys want to take anything out, you definitely can, but it's super good the way it is if you guys would like to test it out. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell next to you and become part of Notification Squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.